Welcome to the 2021 MASNA Award presentation. Starting in 2017, MASNA recognizes two individuals for their work in the marine aquarium hobby that positively contributes to the ongoing sustainability of the hobby and the future marine environments to the MASNA Award and the Aquarist of the Year Award. Together with MASNA, previous winners of the MASNA Award and Aquarist of the Year Award evaluate a pool of MASNA membership-nominated individuals to decide who has given the most to the hobby and industry over their lifetime and year, respectively. The MASNA Award is historically what was called the Aquarist of the Year Award. The MASNA Award is to recognize those individuals who have contributed to a lifetime of achievement to the marine aquarium industry, not only recently, but in the past. The second award is now named the Aquarist of the Year Award, and it is to recognize those individuals who have made a more recent achievement to the marine aquarium industry. I am proud to announce that the 2021 MASNA Aquarist of the Year is Kathy Leahy. Kathy is being recognized for her friendship, her mentoring, and the sharing of her knowledge, and for inspiring countless marine aquarists in the art of breeding marine fish. To learn more about Kathy, please go to masna.org, hover over MASNA programs, and click on Aquarist of the Year. And now for a call with Kathy and all of her friends.
Thank you everyone for being here today. I'm Matt Peterson, the chair of the MASNA Award Committee, I guess, is my unofficial title. I've been doing this, taking over for Rob for the last couple of years. And today we are here gathered to honor and chat with Kathy Leahy, our 2021 MASNA Aquarist of the Year. Congratulations, Kathy. Let me be the first to say that today. So
thank you very much.
So Kevin asked me to talk a little bit about the nominations process and how you were selected. And I thought I would start. This isn't your first year being nominated. I think we've got some MASNA Award winners and former aquarists or present ongoing Aquarists of the Year here in the room today. Hi, Tom. Hi, Tal. Hi, where'd you go? There you are, Rich. So I pulled up a couple of the nomination letters that we got over the years, and I'll just read them to you. I won't say who wrote what. I'll just read what they say. So Kathy has been an interest to share her knowledge of captive breeding as well as her friendly disposition needs to be recognized. And today we are doing just that. Another nomination here. I feel this person qualifies for the MASNA Aquarist of the Year for her years of work leading in the forefront of home hobbyist livestock breeding, her almost countless world firsts, her eagerness and willingness to help others have their own success at home. With the current state of wild fisheries, privatized breeding is going to be all the more important in the years, in the coming years. And then one more nomination I will read here. Kathy has been an inspiration to me for a long time. She has quite the track record of breeding marine aquarium. It is especially impressive given that she lives in St. Louis. So from this completely landlocked position and using household items as apparatus, she might be able to breed an angelfish in a teacup. Maybe she already has. So again, Kathy, can everyone else kind of jump in here? Kathy, we have a long-standing relationship. You have been a mentor to me for years, and I cannot think of a more deserving person this year. So again, my heartfelt congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Bill Catman, and I've been keeping well, kept aquariums all my life, but I've been keeping marine aquariums at Augsburg University in Minneapolis since about 1997 or so, and have just recently gotten into marine breeding in the last 3 or so years, and that's how I met Kathy.
I'm Tom Bowling. I'm the founder of Biota. So we have a few facilities in the US, and we're based in Palau and Hawaii also. And yeah, we're pretty excited about the way the industry is going, and obviously we're very proud to be doing what we're doing and getting results finally. It's been a long road, and it's really great to have your support. Everybody can kind of share that vision and the benefits of what we're doing, and yeah, we're excited to be a part of it. Thanks.
And Thomas, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself again?
Okay, so I'm Tom Priskew. I've been keeping reef tanks for probably about 15 years. Have been pretty successful with different coral tanks, things like that. But within the last several years, I've had quite an abundance of spawns. So that has very luckily helped me connect with Kathy, who has been kind of my my professor in this and helping me out. So I'm very grateful for that.
Mr. Ross, how about you jump in here and
Sure. My name's Richard Ross. I've been keeping marine animals since 1850. And I've been lucky enough to breed and work with spawning on a whole bunch of animals, from fishes to cephalopods to hard corals. And I won an award. I won the MASNA Award I was awarded the MASNA Award in 2014. And that was really an exciting thing to be awarded.
all right, Tal, you're up.
Hi, my name is Tal Sweet. I am the 2020 MASNA Aquarist of the Year Award recipient, and I am also part of the MBI, the Marine Breeding Initiative, and the Rainbow Reefers. One little thing, since I did win the award last year, I was kind of burned out in the hobby, but I've gotten back into it. I now have a nice 180 that I've been running since March, and I'm fully fueled and ready to go back into the hobby now. So thanks for last year. And that's about, I'm sure you know everything from last year, so I won't take any more time, but once again, congratulations, Kathy.
And Aaron.
Alrighty, so I'm Erin Pereira. I am currently the Director of Animal Care at Quality Marine out in LA. I got into the business or into the hobby in 2009, working at a fish store, and said, you know, I really wish we could aquaculture all these fish like we could with freshwater, and then just made that my goal for the rest of my life. And I've gotten an opportunity to do it with the yellow tang, with all sorts of different animals, food, fish, ornamentals, and Kathy's been someone who really just welcomed me with open arms when I was very nervous, fresh out of grad school, and she just was like, no, you're awesome. And I carry that with me all the time. So thank you, Kathy. I'm a little nervous for some reason. I feel like I'm a little bit starstruck with everybody in this room.
Can I just interject a little bit here? Aaron
Yes.
asked to speak at the I think it was the 2016 MBI, and she presented us with an abstract to a paper she was writing. And of course, this was a very, very exciting year. A lot of firsts happened in that year for marine breeding. For whatever reason, I wish I knew what the magic elixir was that fell from the sky. But Aaron's abstract had enough detailed stuff in it to cause me to make changes in what I was doing with the angelfish. And I still say that was instrumental in helping me to bring those angelfish to adulthood. So, you know, she helped me as much as I ever helped her. So my enthusiasm for her coming to MBI was absolutely honest, and well, she deserved it. So yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to, you know, introduce Erin that way. She's being a little too modest.
Thank you, Kathy. MBI was great. I was very just like, I'm going to email Tal and see if he'll let me talk. Chad Callan was like, yeah, maybe they might let you come. So it was a really great time. And I learned a lot and met a lot of you, and it just kind of kept going from there. Really excited to see where we go next and where Kathy contributes. I want to hear all about your retirement plans and what that has to do with fish.
I'm Craig Bingman. I've been interested in aquarium chemistry for like about 3 decades, fairly seriously. And in 2019, I was very honored to receive the MASNA Award. With regards to Kathy, I was trying to look back. At one point, I nominated her for something or another. And I believe that what I said about her was that she could breed any marine fish in a teacup or something to that effect. So yeah, so I think that she's, when I've attended Kathy's talks, I've always been extremely inspired. And I feel like, you know, I could and should be able to do that as well. And I'm sure that a lot of people have felt the same way, and that she's really generated a lot of ground roots, you know, very widespread interest in breeding marine fish at home in the hobby.
So I'm Andy Ryan. I was awarded the MASNA Award, I think in 2017. I'm getting very old. Yeah, it's great to be here with Kathy. She stays young. And she is really one of the reasons why I love sharing information with hobbyists and people who love to rear fish. Kathy's just a great ambassador for those who are really interested in getting into the hobby side of raising fish and sharing information and you know, she's great to have out. She can come stay at my house anytime she wants and visit the lab. And, you know, she's, yeah, it's just, you know, she's the type of person that we want to see in the industry. And it's really nice to welcome her into the club.
Thank you, everybody. That's so sweet.
Kathy, can you tell us about how you got started in the marine aquarium hobby?
Oh, that was a long time ago. I'm a very old person. Let's see, my son is 28, he was 11, so 17 years ago, he wanted to, my son, who was 11, wanted to start a saltwater aquarium. First we started with, you know, goldfish, and then kept visiting the pet store, and he kept seeing these beautiful, colorful fish. And I was pretty intrigued by it too. But my son and I decided that, I decided that before we jumped into this rather expensive sounding hobby, that we were going to do some research and read stuff, because I didn't know how to start a saltwater aquarium. And it seemed pretty fascinating. And, you know, we could learn how to do this and we could learn together. And so we both read books about starting saltwater aquariums. And, you know, some of the people on the stage at MACNA wrote some of those books. And, you know, so it was a good way to start, I think, for anybody in the saltwater aquarium hobby, to read a lot of stuff first, because then you get a feel for what's reasonable and whether you can afford to do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So at the time I was semi-unemployed. I was employed, but there was some unrest at my job because they were changing companies and we were applying for our jobs again, and wasn't sure that I would be employed in the near future. So reading stuff was a good way to approach the hobby. I didn't want to start buying things until I was sure that my contributions to our family income would be secured. And of course they were. And so we did set up a 55-gallon aquarium in the living room. And my son and I had a lot of fun setting that up. And almost a month after we'd gotten everything established and had fish in there, and everything was starting to live and do well, he kind of completely lost interest. But I continued to be interested and kept reading, and came across Joyce Wilkerson's book, Clownfishes. And I remember sitting on the chair in the living room and with the tank there, and my husband came in. I was telling him about this book and how great it was, and how it really spelled out how you can do this saltwater fish breeding with clownfish. And I had a pair of clownfish, so it was like, wow, I could really do this. And I was telling him about that. He said, "Oh, you're not going to start breeding fish, are you?" And I said, "Oh, no, I just want to see if I can grow some phytoplankton and keep some rotifers alive." And that's where I started, of course, because that's the beginning. And then it just kind of mushroomed after that. I ran into some friends from St. Louis at an IMAX show in Chicago, and I was telling them about my interest in breeding clownfish. But of course, my fish weren't spawning at the time, and I was just kind of chatting with these people, and this guy said, "Well, my fish are spawning, and you know, I'll give you the eggs." So we figured out how to put a tile over the spot on his tank that the fish had laid eggs in previously. And I went to his house, picked up the tile when it was time for them to hatch, and came home, and 3 attempts later, I actually got some to live. And that was the start of it all. And I started breeding clownfish a lot. My own fish started spawning. I got more pairs in. I started selling to the local stores and the stores outside of St. Louis, and then a wholesaler for a little while. And, you know, it just became a sort of easy to do kind of business for me that brought in some money, and not a lot of money, not enough to live on, but enough to support itself and give me a little extra. Then a few years after starting that and being pretty good at doing it, you know, some success happened. The clownfish market kind of tanked. There were a couple of big companies that were competing for business. They each wanted to buy the other. So they started this price war with clownfish. Clownfish got to be $3 a piece, free shipping, and there was no way I could compete with that. And I was getting kind of tired of it, turning the wheel on clownfish was too easy. So I wanted a better challenge. And so I started looking at other species, got some broodstock in, started raising some other gobies and things like that. And, of course, all this time I'm posting on the internet because it's such a great resource for people like me. I learned so much from people like you all here, how to do things and what are the tips and tricks and how do I solve this problem or that problem. And so over the years at various forums that I eventually got kicked out of for being a business, I learned a lot. And so I was happy to actually talk about what I'm doing. And then when the MBI site came up and Tal Sweet and Matt Peterson encouraged me to join. And so I did. And it was a great way to document stuff and make sure that I was continuing to do things in a correct way and get help and advice from other people who are also frequenting this forum. It was very, very informative and very helpful to me. And, of course, I tried to help other people as well from what I knew. So it was my hobby. It was something I enjoyed and something I did. And that's kind of it. I ran into Thomas Priscu, I'm supposed to say the full name, at one of the local stores. And we engaged conversation. He said, I've got all these fish spawning in my tanks. Would you like the eggs? Oh my gosh, yes, I would like the eggs. And that was the start of a very lovely friendship. Tom has been very generous to drive eggs to my house when I couldn't drive to his house or drive to the gym that he frequents. And we met there several times to exchange eggs. And he was interested in learning to breed clownfish or other fish. And so, I've given him some advice and helped him with copepods and phytoplankton and things. We're still working on that project, but he raised a level D fish, the mandarin fish, in his basement, or in his garage. So, as a guy who's pretty new to fish breeding, he did a D-level species and completed it, start to finish. That tells you something.
So I'm going to jump in here. For those who don't know, when Kathy talks about a D-level species, we've ranked the various marine aquarium fish in terms of our anticipated or known level of difficulty within the Marine Breeding Initiative. And a D level is currently the highest level, which is pretty much, it includes almost all pelagic spawning fish. There's just a couple that are below it. And Thomas, I wanted to drag you into the conversation first, kind of open it up. I wanted you to speak about your relationship and friendship with Kathy. You are a relatively newcomer to this group here, and I'm really happy that Kathy said, hey, we need to have Thomas on today. So welcome and introduce yourself a little bit, and I want to give you the floor.
Okay, so obviously Thomas Priscu, which I'm embarrassingly noticing I spelled my own first name wrong, so that's cool. Typo. But anyway, so I had stumbled across a post on a forum that Kathy had made. Gosh, I can't even remember when, but quite a long time ago. And she was talking about clownfish, and then sort of it came up in this post that I was not even a part of, that she's living in St. Louis, which I also live in St. Louis. So I'd reached out with a private message just saying, hey, I got this interest, these tanks, and I'm sort of fascinated by this. And it didn't take long at all. And Kathy was messaging me right back with all kinds of help. The post back and forth through the forums was a little bit slow. So we actually met up at a local pet shop. And then I think maybe went and had lunch or something.
Ice cream, I think it was.
Yeah. But Kathy flooded me with very helpful information, and I was able to do clownfish on my own without all of the help with the phyto and the pods and everything else. I would have gotten nowhere. So Kathy very graciously babysat me through a bunch of steps, and it turned out great. So the the spawning part, my fish spawning was just kind of, I guess, luck on my end, because I had a bunch of corals and stuff like that. But I guess just the the environment worked out that I had a bunch of eggs to play with and nothing to do with them. And so when I had no Fido or whatever on my own, Kathy took the eggs and did a bunch of great stuff with it, and always let me know, kind of her thoughts and where things were going. And it just, I'm very grateful that Kathy's always been around to help.
So Tom, I see you kind of anxiously shifting in your chair. Mr. Bowling, how about you hop in and say a few things about Kathy Leahy and your relationship with her?
Look, I haven't known Kathy, I don't think, as well as most of you, but we've had some great chats and some good communication on various species. It's kind of funny though, the very first memory I have of Kathy was at the first MACNA that Biota had a booth, I think.
I remember that.
I think it was the first one. And
I feel
Kathy,
bad about that too.
Kathy very, very gently and politely walked up to me, all sweet, and sort of said, "Oh, these coral beauties are amazing." I said, "Oh, thank you." And she said, "How old are they?" I was like, "Oh, where's this guy?" I said, "Oh, about 4 months." And she said, "I beat you." And that's when I knew, I've got a real aquarist. Like, I think
I said
really
something
happy.
to the effect, "I hate to burst your bubble."
Maybe. Anyway, you dropped it with a lot of pride.
But actually, he was the first.
Yeah, and it was great that you did. I was really happy for that, because to me, that's actually more important that it's happening in the hobby with the hobbyists, as opposed to I have all the resources to do it with a lot of stuff. And it's a very different story. It's great, I thought. Yeah, that's when I was like, I'm going to watch this one.
Well, you're very kind, Tom. Very kind. I think I first was attracted to that booth because you had all these mandarins there, and I was working with them too. And I don't think you had angels at that booth, did you?
I believe we did. I think we had a couple of coral beauties, and that's because I remember you definitely saying, "How old are these?" And then you, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, the coral beauties were, of course, Thomas Priskew's eggs. And we tried several times before I had any success.
Wow, so that was a while ago then. Yeah.
It was a while ago, really a long time ago. But we continue to try to repeat that success, and someday it will happen. Whereas you do the whole thing from start to finish, and and you've raised hundreds of them. So
again, well, yeah, I mean, again, it's not me. I have a facility and staff, and that is the difference, I think. So we have to acknowledge that, I think, and
I acknowledge that might help. I still think I should be able to do it. So I haven't given up on the project.
Yeah, great.
I'm just waiting to find some time right now, because there's life events happening.
I think dovetailing on what Tom said, I mean, you being able to do this one-man show or one-woman show, I should say, is
with Tom's help. I couldn't have done it without the eggs, right?
I'm just the delivery guy. So
staff who spend that's their whole job, and you've got a family, you've got everything going on, a whole nother job. So it needs to be shouted from the rooftops that what you do is pretty incredible.
Well, I just want people to know that you don't necessarily have to have a staff and a warehouse and all that it can be done.
One thing, Kathy, the one thing I love about you, and also drives me crazy about you, that every time somebody says, "What a great job Kathy's done," you almost always tell us why it wasn't you. And I think it's great that you've won this award, because, like we've been talking since we've known each other, I think you do a great job and an important job, and you're always out there, and you're always visible, and you're always willing to help, and you're always working, and you do a lot of the work. Without you, it wouldn't be happening. So I think this kind of forces you to take ownership of the good work that you have done.
Well, I'm having a tremendous feeling of imposter syndrome at the moment, just for those reasons that you described, because it's not in my nature to take credit for myself.
Well,
Yes.
So
I think everyone who's gotten one of these awards has that moment. I don't know if you remember my acceptance speech, which was so I
I'm doing
think
better than that.
you are kicking my butt in terms of acceptance. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So Tal, I'm gonna nudge you down there, Tal. We haven't heard from you yet, and I think you need to chime in here and remark on Richard's remarks that Kathy has always been extremely humble as just a person. I think those of us blessed to have her in our lives know that the kindness and the wisdom and that sense of humility really go. But something you said to me, Rich, about my own personality, that I like to lift people up, and I think Kathy has that as well, where she wants to bring everyone up with her and bring everyone in and make everyone feel welcome. And I think that really speaks to kind of Tal and the MBI. And I kind of want to nudge you down there, Tal, on my screen to jump in. And
Yeah, congratulations, Kathy. I think it's about time that you got this award. I can't remember exactly what year I met you, but I'm sure it was the first or second MBI workshop, probably. Did you
It
come to
must
the?
have been. I didn't come to the first one. It didn't register somehow, and then I did come to the second one, and I've been a devotee ever since.
Yeah, well, I had corresponded with you back and forth on several of the forums, and eventually the MBI, and like, tell me everything you know. And of course, Kathy's like, tells everything. So it's really meeting her and getting her involved with the MBI. And she's like the epitome of what we need with hobbyist breeders that do their own work and share their information, which Kathy does exemplary. And as a person, she's just an awesome friend. I mean, not being able to see any of you guys has been horrible, but seeing Kathy every year at the workshop has been great. But these last 2 years of not being able to see her has been quite the bummer. Hopefully we'll get back to that next year and we can start seeing people in person. But there's not much more I can add that everybody else hasn't already said. I mean, Kathy's she's the real deal. And congratulations once again.
so I'm just going to dovetail what Tal said there for a second, because I've told many of the recipients, especially since I've been kind of running this for everyone, that this is definitely not a recognition that comes with oh, you're done now, go ahead, move on, time for someone new. This is I look at both the MASNA award and the MASNA Aquarist of the Year award as recognitions for accomplishments and almost a mandate to keep doing what you're doing. It's one of those attaboys, attagirls, however you want to put it. Just you have made enough of an impact that enough people have gotten behind you and said, we are going to hold you up, and as an example of what we all should aspire to, of the way we carry ourselves and the way we push this hobby forward for everyone's benefit. So yeah, I definitely am very eager to hear about Kathy's retirement plans. Maybe I'll be moving to St. Louis and working in her hatchery. I don't know. So I would welcome the invitation, Kathy. So on the note of welcoming her into the club, Kevin mentioned earlier the duties that are thrust upon you, Kathy, which basically involves some nagging emails from me every year as we start this process again, and looking at nominee bios and weighing in, and or as some of you guys don't weigh in that much, some do, but having some debate and then voting and helping select future people for this recognition for the Aquarist of the Year. So Tom has had that privilege, and Tal has also had his first year with that privilege, and now you join. Every year that club gets one member bigger, and we are very lucky to have your wisdom in that group, and I look forward to your insights.
Because of my conversations with Rich Ross, who has assured me that it's not the case. I mean, I for at least one of the years that I was nominated, I turned down the nomination because I didn't feel that I wanted to be, an affirmative action aquarist. I didn't want to be put above people that I felt were better than I am. just because they wanted to have a female on the stage. I wanted to, actually have earned it. And Rich assured me that my fears about that were perhaps unfounded. And one of the years I turned it down was because my father just died and I couldn't deal with all this. So, I have to say that it's because of the encouragement of the people in this Zoom call too, that I feel like it's okay for me to accept this now. But I don't want to be an affirmative action winner. I want to be somebody who earns it on the same level, on the same scale as everybody else who's earned it. And so that's what I think.
That's great. And I want to anybody who's thinking about becoming a Marine person who may one day do stuff to qualify for either of these awards, there's no blueprint for this. And the qualities that the people who recommend the winners for the award or the recipients of the award changes from year to year. This is a flexible, floatable, changeable award. And so I think, just jumping on what Kathy was saying about, wanting to be worthy of the award based on other people, it's really being worthy of the award based on what's happening in the hobby and the industry right now and what you're working on. So we've seen a lot of people win because breeding is really hot and really important, but there's a ton of other stuff going on in the world of marine aquariums that are worthy of getting an award for. And there's 2 awards now, and there's actually a 3rd award that sometimes pops up, but they're for different kinds of things. And whoever I think is up for a nomination is worthy. And Kathy, like you say, we've talked about this a lot. I've thought you were worthy of this award since the first day I met you. And I am.
You can't base it on the fact that you like me.
Oh, I don't like you. We don't like you. We think you're worthy of the award. We do like you, but you are, and liking you is part of it. I mean, you're being so generous and likable with the information you have is part of what goes into the award. You're the kind of person that we want in a position of having this award is somebody who is approachable and gives back. So, and that's you. So I think you're totally worthy of it. And I can't be more thrilled that you finally got it.
Yeah, I think Rich is exactly right here. When you say it, you want someone like Kathy to be a reflection of this industry, right? It's and Kathy to me was one of the people in the forums that, because when I was getting into this in the early, the late 90s, early 2000s or so, it's where everybody was if you wanted to meet anybody. And I was also shocked at how well hobbyists compared to scientists communicated with each other. Now, Rich thinks forums are kind of troubling and has these debates on his podcast whether forums are useful or not. But Kathy's a glowing example of why forums really are the best information dissemination device that the hobby has created. And not just for the hobbyists, but other industries use, forums as well. But I think the aquarium hobby uses forums probably better than most any other dissemination method today, because you can interact with people who actually know what they're doing, and they will spend the time to help young people or help people who are getting into this, their youth into the hobby, and they will help them just for being altruistic and helping them, and help themselves learn a little bit as well and meet people. And to me, that is one of the most endearing qualities of a wonderful person that having spending time with Kathy is excellent. And I mean, you bring her into your house to meet your kids and help you raise fish, and she's just such a great representative of what we really should strive the industry to be. And I think when I have these endearing thoughts of what online learning communities are, Kathy's one of the people that you think about.
I want to add to what Andy said too. Something that you do really well that I think all scientists need to get better at is communicating the science, being able to break down what's in the abstracts, in the papers, in a digestible format that people want to listen to, and then applying it. Because we've talked more than once about having these large facilities, but that's, you know, we need to be able to take what we learn there and have the hobbyists who want to take this forward. I was told when I was about to finish undergrad that nobody was ever rearing fish. And I'm like, well, what about all these clownfish? And well, you can't take it to the pelagic stage. And then being able to do what you do and cite literature that has taken years to get all this information. I'm trying not to get too lost in thought here, and break it down for everyone, and then and spread it. Like I work with Dean Klein, who does a lot of copepod work, and he does not share. He's a very private guy, and Kathy is such a great. You take his research and be like, look what we can do here, and let people access it, which is something that science has struggled to do in the past.
Well, to give Dean credit, he's the one who gave us access to it. He's the one who did the work. It was a tremendous couple of papers from the Oceanic Institute that changed the world for clownfish, well, not clownfish, but fish breeders, marine fish breeders. You know, being able to culture intensively Parvocallinus is just outstanding. And then, you know, raising yellow tangs is no easy feat, as you well know. And yet you guys did it, and you did it in a really scientific way so that we could really understand what is needed, what is the essential biology that you can't monkey around with, you have to have.
There's so much work to do, but it's being driven forward by people like you as well, not just the science.
Well, I do talk about those two things very much in my talks because it's really important. And, you know, if we're going to have people doing this, we're going to have people growing copepods like they can rotifers. It's got to be that easy. And it kind of is if you just follow a few simple guidelines. It's different, but not necessarily harder. So, yeah. So we do have to get the word out if we want people to breed fish, because you got to have those two things.
So I'm gonna jump in here and ask Kathy, what are your future plans? We've alluded to them, but we've not really talked about them.
Well, yeah, because they're pretty sketchy right now. You know, my future plans are to get through October and then be a little more disciplined and organized about my fish breeding right now. And Tom has been maintaining his fish beautifully, and they are spawning like crazy. And so I have a source of a variety of eggs to work with. So I'm going to bang on that for a while and see what I can do. But October has to happen first, and then I can do that again. I got a big bike ride coming up.
So do you have any species first that you're eyeing that you're going to stake your claim and say to all the other breeders on here, stay away from this species, it's mine?
No.
No?
I wouldn't do that. Why would I want to do that?
No, you're right. You're the type of person who wouldn't. I will say that. But
yeah, what are you doing?
Well, I've told everyone Capistratus, Chaetodon capistratus, stay away from it. It's mine. Do all the other Atlantic butterflies, but I want that one. So
Aaron, can you go ahead and put me down for a dozen of those?
Thank
you.
Here's your account.
we have an edge here because we have Aaron online. Yeah, Andy likes a challenge.
Kathy, I mean, if you could do anything, what would you do if you had access to eggs? What would that look like?
If I had access to eggs, that's the problem. I don't have big tanks. I don't have a way to keep broodstock to the point where I get them to spawn. So thankfully, I have Tom Priscu to help me. But if I could do anything, you know, I don't really have a specific goal. You know, there's some fish in Hawaii that aren't going to be coming into the trade, I guess, pretty soon. So it'd be good
to, you have to watch out for those Hawaiian fish. They have all these long larval stages because they're in Hawaii. You know, if they made it Hawaii, they're going to be in Hawaii for a long time. Frank and I talk about that a lot. You know, don't work with Hawaiian fish. They're just
Yeah, if they got to that,
Somebody's got to. You must be doing it, right, Andy? So if anybody wants to offer Tom Priscu some broodstock, because he's really good at that part, I'm not. Yeah, I don't really have specific things in mind. I like the process of breeding marine fish, and I probably will continue to do that for a long time. Probably not clownfish, because I'm kind of done with that. I do have a spawning pair, though, Andy, if you're still interested. I really don't have a long-term plan, although a specific plan. I do intend to continue to breed fish and continue to try, and I've thought about maybe doing some video YouTube things of how I do this so that it reaches a broader audience, because sometimes forums are troublesome, as we all know. I've learned a lot from forums, and I've learned a lot from even the Facebook version of forums, which isn't really that good because you don't have a permanent record of what's going on. But yeah, maybe a YouTube channel or something is in my near future. But first I have to clean up the basement and get my acting gear in a number of different areas before that happens.
I think what we ought to do is automate Kathy's algae for her, so she doesn't have to worry about her microalgae.
Yes.
Well, algae's okay. I've got algae is like 10 minutes a week. It's really not a big deal.
So,
But
so we
You could,
we
if
need-
you could just keep sending me copepods.
I could. That's an easy one, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to get Kathy set up with some YouTuber help and
Oh,
Get the
that would be
cat-
awesome.
get the
That would be-
Kathy's YouTube channel rolling so that we can all watch.
If only there
and-
was someone on here that knew how to edit videos so well,
Yeah.
you know, and does that so well for MASNA, you know, to make.
Richard Ross, everybody. Round of applause. I was going to mention, Kathy, your MACNA 2019 presentation on YouTube has almost 11,000 views. I don't
Really?
know if you realize that. Yeah, there's a lot of, you're inspiring a lot of people over there. So
Good.
go over there.
again, I was like, let me remind myself and watch every bit of it.
Wow.
I love Kathy, just trying to.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to hear. Well, I am deeply honored by this award. And it is an absolute delight to have been voted for this award by all the people who I have so admired for so long and who have helped me on my journey to doing this fish breeding thing and this conversation with other aquarists thing that has become valued. And it is lovely, absolutely lovely, to be appreciated in this way for just really doing what I wanted to do. And none of this was a part of any plan to achieve anything. It was just what I wanted to do with my time and with my hobby and with the skills that I have. It's good. It's nice to share, and I enjoy doing that. And it is really, truly an honor that I get to stand on the stage at the next live MACNA with all these people who I have so admired for so long, and I'm just touched deeply by it. Thank you.
Oh, Kathy, everyone's giving you a round of applause, and it's my honor to present you with the Aquarist of the Year award. It reads: the Marine Aquarium Society of North America presents the 2021 MASNA Aquarist of the Year award to Kathy Leahy for her friendship, her mentoring, the sharing of her knowledge, and the inspiring countless marine aquarists in the art of marine fish breeding. Here you go, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you.
There it is.
There it is. It's hard to see. There we go. There we go. Ta-da. Thank you very much.
And
It's an honor.
as Kathy mentioned, we're all invited to MACNA 2022 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin from September 9th to the 11th. I know Kathy might have the ability to even drive there. Bill's like, wow, I can drive there too.
Yeah.
So definitely hope to see you all there. And if you guys want to go to MACNA.org, you can find out more information.